Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
They said our mics are on. We better.
Once again,
and welcome back.
Going on the break.
We always do. We always do.
I really think we ought to have that between the break show and make that as a whole segment.
Yes, I would absolutely agree right there. But we have a great show. We're talking about a great theme right now, which is the long road to success.
The long road to
in
success.
real estate. Our next guest up we have actually is Fabian Corzo. And one of the things we're going to do, we're going to start conducting this in Spanish from right now. Fabian and I realized that he's from Colombia, I'm from Mexico, so we're going to take this Latin American style. But
listen, and welcome, Fabian. Welcome to the show.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give kind of a little prelude here. Is that I was meeting with Fabian the early part of last week, and or was it this week? It was last week, I guess it was. Anyway, I've slept since then, and he has this compelling story of how he got here from Colombia, how he got into real estate. I mean, it was a great story. So I wanted to say, you need to come on and talk about that. So.
And it's a perfect, and we built the whole show around you. Can you believe that?
Yeah, exactly. But it was a great talent of his dad was a veterinarian in Colombia. They came here and worked, various jobs to get ready. And I was visiting in his lovely home in Memorial. So talk about a little bit about where you started, how you got here, and how you got into real estate. I mean, you've got a great success story.
Sure, I'll give you the cliff notes.
Okay.
My parents immigrated from South America, Colombia, 30 years ago, and basically they were escaping from various reasons. Number one, the guerrillas. My mom was a judge at a small town, and there was a lot of killing going on, and the crime, the drug lords, the guerrillas. So they basically said, let's come over here and start all over.
And we're not talking about guerrillas from the jungle. Even though they are pretty jungle-oriented right there.
They are guerrillas, and they are in the
we are
jungle.
talking about sort of like the guerrilla warfare. We're talking about in the sense of people.
Yeah.
That is correct. That is correct. So we when we live down there, we have decent. My parents have probably they were blue collar employees and they had good jobs. My dad was a vet. My mom was an attorney. We went to private schools, but coming to America, basically they wanted to move to an area in Houston where they had good schools. So they moved to Memorial High School. They moved to a condo, and we started from scratch. New language, new culture, and as a teenager, that was a culture shock. So
I can't imagine coming to a whole different country and having a whole different language.
So we started from scratch and getting manual jobs, and from then on, we were able to graduate from college and start a business in real estate 20 years ago with the help of my parents. They started the business, and basically I stepped in a couple years later, and we took it to the next level.
And right now, your dad still works with you, doesn't he?
Yeah, they work with me on a part-time basis as buyer's agents. They travel quite a bit all over, so they're a lot of fun. Most of our clientele are in the oil and gas industry nowadays, and they're from South America, Mexico, Europe, and a lot of people that are moving in. They do speak English and Spanish, but due to my parents, being comfortable with the culture, it's a good match for them.
I remember meeting your father actually at a closing I did. I remember meeting him right there. So I'm looking at this at the Corzo Group Properties logo, and I was like, I totally remember your dad at this point. Very nice man, by the way.
Thank you.
Fabian, we're talking about the long road to success today. So I know some of the audience, with the market being as incredible as it is, that's the time that a lot of people say, man, I want to jump into real estate, or I want to jump in because it's cranking and they see it as an easy opportunity.
And it's easy.
It's easy. So let's get in, right? But we all know anybody that's done anything to any level of success knows that it doesn't matter what's going on. It's always a lot of work to build a successful business. What would you say if there was a key to your success, or if there were things that brought you to the level that you're at now for the person that was considering getting in? What would you prepare them for on that long road to success?
I think one of my business coaches says that the word where success comes before work is in the dictionary. But I feel that in this business, or any business, you should work to learn first, and then you work to earn later. And I think you need to take this. You need to think this as a long-term opportunity, and just work. Work to learn for the first few years, become an assistant of someone, have enough income to support you for the next year or two, and then you can actually. build a business, and there's not enough money in this world to do this for the money only. There's got to be bigger goals like serving others, caring, seeing success stories.
And you used the word passion when we were talking the other day, and that's a
you
common theme in this.
On any business,
this
you have to have a passion for it, and without passion, there's no enjoyment in this business.
You said a phrase that I really like: work to earn, then work to learn, and then work to earn. I came up with a little quotable for myself a long time ago that leaders are learners and learners are earners. You have to start off with that mastery of the craft to really dedicate yourself to acquiring the knowledge to be an expert in your area. No, there's that old saying: a jack of all trades and a master of none. And
dilettante, yes.
I always laugh when I get that business card from somebody and they say, well, hey, I do X, Y, and Z, and then on the back of their card it says that they walk dogs and they sell noni juice and they do roofing and landscaping and everything else. I'm like, okay, you just told me you're not good at any of this.
Yeah. Anybody getting into the industry nowadays is can be very dangerous if you look at this as a long-term business, because this is the worst time to train if you're not careful. I think the great time to train a realtor is during a recession. You get your financial order in order, and then you get all the the foundation of your business. Right now, you can make a sale, but then that'll take you so far.
Yeah.
Well, experience is a great teacher as long as you have somebody to mentor you. You've had a lot of people mentor. In fact, you have a coach, do you not?
Yeah, Brian Buffini Assistants for the last 10 years basically had taught me how to take care of a business with a three-leg stool, financial. It is also the lead generation, which is 5 times more important, and the other one is customer service. The financial is just as important as everything else. As he says, most people in America buy things they don't need with money they don't have to impress people they don't know.
What a good point.
That is a great point. I would agree.
And that was a proof of that was during the recession. A lot of people use their homes as pulse machines. Suck everything out, and most of Americans lose their
Getting
homes.
those equity loans and lines of credit against their homes and things like that. So, I can understand that. But
it was just a couple short years ago that I remember reading an article in the local paper here that said Americans had the lowest credit score since we've been measuring credit scores.
Really?
Yeah, and that was just about 2 years ago when that hit. But what a coincidence that then we see within that time frame the lowering of the American credit score abroad. It's individual strength leads to the strength of our country.
In my own experience during the recession, my market went from average between 2 to 600,000. After the recession, 300 to 900,000. Oil and gas executives, and for one reason or another, they're the ones that suffered the less during the recession. People under 200,000 and under. Those people basically a tough time getting back on, the values coming back. Now everybody's doing better, and we're blessed to be in Houston.
And you've actually gotten done very well in a niche part of the business. Kind of talk about the demographics of your clientele.
Sure. It has been by accident, actually. I built my business by relationships, okay? I want to work with people who I enjoy working with and who want to see me do well. And due to that reason, I get pulled a lot in the Energy Corridor area, Memorial, West Houston, Inner Loop, oil and gas executives ages between 25 and 35 years of age.
So you've got young clientele coming in.
A few in the 40s, not that many, and I would say half of them are looking at this as an investment long term. They live in their home, but they want to keep that asset long term. Even though I make homes, helping people sell homes, I try to encourage them to keep their asset and manage it themselves. Unless they get relocated, we offer that management service as well for them, so they can keep the asset.
And so now, do you? Some of the Energy Corridor areas are also the Woodlands and Katy. Are you out in those areas as well?
I send people when it comes to the Woodlands nowadays. I refer all my clients out there to
very
the
smart.
brokers. Yeah, and
goes back to being an expert in the area that
in
you
the
work,
area
things like that.
Right.
So, and you do a lot of international type of business with your clients. Is that correct? Where they're coming from other countries.
Sure.
And coming here.
Probably 60% of them are coming from other countries. Europe. I have some Canadians too. South Americans, Mexico, just about everywhere.
It's an amazing international city.
It really is, and I can attest to this because one of the things people see me and they see they look at me, and even Fabian was, when you were out there, you were surprised I was speaking Spanish to my kids, for example. But once people find that out, it's a very international community. I would probably say 50%, for example, of my clientele are from individuals like Fabian who have a lot of Spanish-speaking clientele, because they end up, one of the things that people a lot of times when they come here want to deal with individuals who have an ability to understand their language a lot of time, or where they're coming from.
And the culture.
Et cetera. And the culture associated with that, because every culture is a little bit different. In fact, we had a culture issue that we came across the other day. It was pretty interesting. And so, one of the things that we always tell everybody is, people come and they want to deal with like-minded people, both in success of what they do, both in terms of ideology, both in terms of culture, what they understand, family values, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, most of these oil and gas executives, they speak 2, 3, 4, 5 languages, including English, of course. But they want to hear 3 things from us professionals. They want to make sure, can I trust you? Do you care about me? And are you good at what you do? Once you find a yes on those 3 questions, then you have a client for life.
And here's what I've found to be true. People who come here and do speak English, and they speak perfectly fine English, but they want to have business details in their native language. Have you found that to be true with?
Very true.
Because not everything interprets, from one language to another, and so I find that if you speak Russian but you speak English, I had a Russian-speaking agent in my office, and someone found her who was from Russia but spoke perfect English, but they wanted to do business in their own language.
Wow. And of course, I have to give most of the credit of my success to my wife, which basically
Smart
is
man.
Yeah, she keeps the house in order. I am the hunter; she's the skinner. She keeps all the
I like that.
She keeps all the finances in order. The office, I'm a mess. I mean, when it comes to me, I'm a hurricane. I come in and she basically just keep everything in peace. So she helps me a lot. She's from here, from Texas, and
she's lovely. She's a lovely woman too.
A big shout out to Miss Corzo then.
That's my wife is the reminder of everything for me. She's like, do you have your phone, or do you all that stuff? And early on in the relationship, I used to get offended by that. I'm like, of course I have my. Dadgummit, it's on the counter.
Yeah.
But you just learn. That's a good thing you're doing.
That's to keep you humble, Joe.
Yeah.
So,
we are coming up against a break
again.
Can you believe it? And so, Fabian, how can we reach you if you don't mind?
My website is corzogroup.com.
Corzogroup.com, CORZO group.com.
And my cell, 281-250-6376. Call me 24/7. You can pick my brain for free.
Pick his brain for free. Let me tell you, great individual. We still have one more segment coming up. It's our open mic time in the next 15 minutes, so stay tuned. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.
Why don't